In a galaxy filled with vibrant stars and strange worlds, the Galactic Council stood as a symbol of peace. For 3,000 years, many alien species had come together to ensure that their differences would not lead to war. Each species had its own culture, language, and history, but they learned to respect one another. Earth was a small but proud member of this council. Although humans did not hold much power, they had earned their place by showing their skills in technology and diplomacy. Ambassador Maya was Earth's representative in the council. She was determined, passionate, and deeply committed to maintaining peace. She loved her planet and believed that humans could contribute to a better future for all species in the galaxy. However, tensions were brewing, and the fragile peace was about to be tested. One day, during a routine trade meeting, a shocking event unfolded. The council was discussing new trade routes when a senior alien diplomat accused humans of smuggling dangerous technology. This claim was based on a misunderstanding, but it spread quickly like wildfire. The atmosphere in the room grew heavy with suspicion and anger. Delegates from various species exchanged worried glances, and whispers of war began to fill the air. Maya stood up, her heart racing. She felt the weight of her responsibility. "This is a misunderstanding," she pleaded. "Humans have always followed the rules. We believe in cooperation and peace." Her voice echoed in the large chamber, but not everyone was convinced. Some aliens rolled their eyes, thinking of humans as reckless and unpredictable. As discussions intensified, the council began to split into factions. Some members called for immediate punishment, while others argued for diplomacy. Maya felt trapped. She knew that if the council voted to declare war, it could lead to destruction and chaos. But how could she convince them to see reason? Amid the arguments, Maya caught the eye of a sympathetic delegate from a peaceful species known as the Tellerans. They were wise and respected for their fairness. She decided to reach out to them, hoping to gain support. "If we can present evidence of our innocence, maybe we can turn this around," she said quietly to her ally. As the meeting continued, tensions mounted. The council decided to hold a vote on whether to declare war on Earth. Maya's heart sank. She thought of her friends and family back home. What would they do if the council turned against them? She had to act quickly. While waiting for the vote, Maya gathered her thoughts. She remembered stories from Earth's past, how humans had faced great challenges and emerged stronger. "We have overcome many obstacles before," she reminded herself. "This time must be no different." When the time came for the vote, Maya stood before the council once more. "Please listen to me! A war will only bring pain and suffering. Let us find a peaceful solution," she urged. Her voice was filled with emotion, but the council was divided. Some aliens seemed swayed by her words, but many were still filled with anger and fear. The vote was cast, and the results were grim. The majority of the council members decided to declare war on Earth. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. How could this happen? She thought. After all these years of peace, we are on the brink of war over a misunderstanding. As the meeting adjourned, chaos erupted. Delegates shouted, and some rushed out in anger. Maya stood frozen, feeling hopeless. But deep down, a spark ignited within her. She knew she could not give up. She had to protect her planet and her people. Determined, Maya began to think of a plan. She knew that she needed allies and evidence to prove humanity's innocence. The fight for peace had just begun, and she would do everything in her power to keep the fragile peace alive. In that moment of uncertainty, one thing was clear. The future of humanity hung in the balance. After the shocking vote by the Galactic Council, the atmosphere on Earth changed overnight. News of the war declaration spread like wildfire. People were scared, confused, and angry. Some wondered how this could happen after 3,000 years of peace. Others felt betrayed by the council they had trusted. Ambassador Maya returned to Earth, her mind racing with thoughts. She had witnessed the council's decision firsthand and felt a heavy burden on her shoulders. As she walked through the bustling streets of New York, she could see the fear in people's eyes. News reports blared from every screen, showing images of alien ships preparing for war. Maya knew she had to act quickly to unite her people. In the days that followed, Maya organized a press conference. She stood in front of a crowd, determined to speak directly to the people. "We must not lose hope," she declared. "This war is based on a misunderstanding. We are stronger together than apart. We will fight for our right to exist, but we must also strive for peace." The crowd reacted with a mix of cheers and skepticism. Many were ready to fight, but others were terrified of the conflict ahead. Maya could see the division among them. "We need a plan," she thought. "We must show the Council that humanity will not back down." Meanwhile, in the council chambers, the atmosphere was just as tense. The debate continued over how to handle the situation with Earth. Some alien leaders argued for immediate action, while others pushed for diplomacy. A faction led by the Tellarans advocated for talks, believing there was still a chance to resolve the conflict peacefully. But their voices struggled to be heard above the shouts of war-hungry delegates. Maya knew she needed to gather evidence to prove humanity's innocence. She began working with scientists and engineers to dig deeper into the allegations of technology smuggling. They discovered that the supposed smuggled technology was actually a harmless communication device. This revelation gave Maya hope. However, time was not on her side. The Council was impatient, and the warships were already being assembled. Maya realized she had to act fast. She reached out to sympathetic alien leaders, hoping to find allies who could help her make her case. The Tellarans, who had always valued peace, were willing to listen. Maya traveled back to the Council, this time with a group of Earth scientists and a delegation from the Tellarans. She stood before the Council once more, her heart pounding. "We come to share the truth," she said. "The technology you accused us of smuggling is not dangerous. It is a tool for communication and cooperation." The room fell silent as she presented the evidence. Screens lit up with images of the device and explanations of its purpose. Some delegates leaned in, intrigued. Others remained skeptical, still convinced that humans posed a threat. As discussions continued, a new voice emerged from the shadows. A leader from a powerful alien race called the Vorlax stood up. "Why should we trust humans?" he sneered. "They are unpredictable and reckless." Maya felt a surge of anger but kept her composure. "We may have made mistakes in the past, but we have always learned from them. We are not the monsters you think we are. We believe in peace just as you do." Her words struck a chord with some, but the room remained divided. The Council was at a crossroads. Some members began to change their minds, recognizing the potential for a peaceful resolution, while others grew more hostile. Back on Earth, the situation was also escalating. Reports of protests against the war began to emerge. People were rallying for peace, holding signs that read, "Choose diplomacy, not war." The support for Maya's message grew stronger, but there were also voices calling for preparation for battle. It was a chaotic time, and Maya knew she had to channel that energy into something constructive. As she returned to Earth, Maya gathered her team and brainstormed. They would need a strategy to counter the Council's war preparations. "We must show them that humans are not to be underestimated," she declared. "We will prepare, but we will also reach out for peace. If we can convince even a few more Council members, we might have a chance." With renewed determination, Maya set her sights on the challenge ahead. The rising tensions were palpable, but she believed that hope still lingered in the hearts of many. She was ready to fight for humanity's place in the galaxy, not just with weapons, but with courage, unity, and the unwavering belief in peace. As the Galactic Council continued its preparations for war against Earth, Maya felt the urgency of the situation grow with each passing day. Back on Earth, the mood shifted from confusion to determination. People began to realize that they had to prepare for a fight, but Maya wanted to ensure that they were also ready to seek peace. Maya gathered a team of scientists, military leaders, and strategists in a large conference room. Maps of the galaxy covered the walls, and screens displayed images of alien ships. "We must be ready for anything," she said, her voice steady. "But we should also look for opportunities to negotiate. We can't forget that." One of the military leaders, General Harris, frowned. "Ambassador, we need to focus on defense. The Council is preparing a massive fleet. We can't afford to be caught off guard." Maya nodded. She understood the general's concern. "I agree, General. But we should also think about how we can reach out to the Council members who want peace. If we can show them that we are strong and united, we might change some minds." The team worked tirelessly, developing strategies for both defense and diplomacy. They reinforced Earth's defenses and called up reserves from across the planet. Citizens enlisted in droves, ready to protect their home. Factories shifted to producing advanced technology for their ships, and engineers worked around the clock to upgrade existing defenses. Meanwhile, Maya stayed in touch with her allies in the Council. The Tellarans remained a crucial support system, and they offered to help her in reaching out to more factions that valued peace. "We believe in your cause," a Teleran leader said during a video call. "We will stand with you." As preparations intensified, Maya felt a growing sense of hope. Earth was coming together in a way she had never seen before. Communities united, sharing resources and knowledge. Schools held rallies to raise awareness about the conflict, and the message of peace and unity echoed everywhere. Yet, amid this hope, she could not shake the feeling of dread that the war might still come. On the other side of the galaxy, the Council was divided. Many members felt the pressure to act quickly. Warships were being built, and fleets were being assembled. The Vorlax leader, who had spoken against humans, pushed for an immediate attack, claiming that waiting would only allow humans to prepare further. During a particularly heated council meeting, the Tellarans spoke up again. "We have evidence that humans are willing to cooperate. They are preparing for defense, but they also seek peace," one delegate argued. "Let us not rush into a conflict that could lead to destruction for all." Despite their efforts, the warmongers in the council remained strong. As the days passed, Maya's team worked tirelessly to prepare for the worst. They trained soldiers, practiced defense maneuvers, and set up communication systems to stay in touch with each other during the chaos of battle. Maya also initiated a campaign to boost morale. She traveled to military bases and spoke to the troops, reminding them of what they were fighting for, their homes, families, and the chance for a peaceful future. "We are not just defending ourselves, we are standing up for what we believe in. We are fighting for our right to exist in this galaxy," she told them. Back on Earth, people began to wear symbols of unity, a simple blue ribbon that represented peace and hope. The ribbons became a sign that people were ready to fight for peace, not just war. Maya loved seeing this symbol spreading across the globe. It was a reminder of humanity's strength. However, the situation was growing more urgent. Reports from the Council indicated that the fleet would be ready to launch soon. Maya felt a mix of fear and determination. She knew that a war could lead to devastation on both sides, but she also understood that she had to prepare her people. As the final preparations were made, Maya met with her closest advisors. "We will stand strong no matter what happens. Let's make sure that if the Council does attack, they will regret underestimating humanity," she said firmly. "But we will also keep searching for a way to talk. There may still be a chance for peace." With resolve in her heart, Maya faced the looming threat of war. Earth was preparing for battle, but she would continue to fight for understanding, for unity, and for the hope that one day all species could coexist in peace. The time for action was near, and she was ready to lead her people into whatever lay ahead. The day had finally arrived. Tensions reached a boiling point as the Galactic Council's fleet, a massive armada of warships, approached Earth. Maya stood on the command deck of a human warship, the USS Valor, her heart pounding. She looked out at the stars, knowing that the fate of humanity rested on their shoulders. The bridge was filled with officers and technicians, each focused on their tasks. The air buzzed with energy and anxiety. "All systems are ready, Ambassador," General Harris reported, his eyes fixed on the screens. "We have to hold our ground." Maya nodded, her mind racing. "We need to remember our purpose. We fight to defend our planet, but we also hope for peace. If we can show them our strength, they might reconsider their actions." As the fleet drew closer, Maya felt a mix of fear and determination. Reports from the Council indicated that the Vorlax faction was leading the attack, eager to prove that humans were a threat. She knew they underestimated her people. "Incoming message from the Council!" a technician shouted. The room fell silent. The screen lit up with the face of a Vorlax leader, his expression cold and unyielding. "Humans, you have defied the Council's authority for too long. Surrender now or face the consequences." Maya took a deep breath. "We will not surrender. We will defend our home and our way of life. If you attack, you will find that we are not as weak as you think." The Vorlax leader sneered. "So be it. Prepare for battle!" As the communication ended, the tension in the room escalated. "All crew, prepare for combat," Maya ordered, her voice steady. The crew moved with purpose, readying weapons and defense systems. She could feel the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, but she refused to show fear. Moments later, the warning alarms blared. "Enemy ships are entering firing range," a technician shouted. Maya's heart raced. "Hold your positions! Prepare to counterattack." Suddenly, the enemy fleet unleashed a barrage of laser fire. Bright beams shot through space, illuminating the dark void. The USS Valor shook as the ship's shields absorbed the impact. "Return fire!" Maya commanded, her voice fierce. The crew responded with precision, firing back at the enemy ships. The battle erupted into chaos. Ships darted in all directions, maneuvering to avoid enemy fire. Explosions lit up the dark canvas of space as vessels clashed. Maya watched in awe and horror as her crew fought valiantly against the odds. They had trained hard, and now it was time to prove their worth. On the bridge, General Harris barked orders, directing the crew to target the enemy's weak points. "Focus on those lead ships. They're trying to break through our defenses," he shouted. The crew worked in perfect harmony, operating as one. Maya felt a surge of pride as the USS Valor maneuvered through enemy fire, dodging blasts with incredible skill. Her heart raced with each successful shot fired. They were holding their own against a much larger force, but she knew this was only the beginning. As the battle raged on, the tide began to turn. Human ships worked together, coordinating their attacks. They targeted the enemy's engines, causing chaos in the Vorlax fleet. The human spirit shone brightly as they fought not just for survival, but for their place in the galaxy. But then, disaster struck. An enemy ship managed to breach their defenses, firing directly at the USS Valor. Alarms blared as the impact rocked the ship. "Damage report!" Maya shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. "Shields down to 30%. We're taking heavy damage," a technician replied, panic creeping into their voice. "Stay calm," Maya urged. "We can still do this. Focus on repairs and keep fighting." The crew sprang into action, patching up systems while returning fire. The battle felt like an eternity, but Maya held on to hope. Just as despair threatened to take hold, she spotted a glimmer of light. A group of Allied ships from the Teleran swooped in, providing much-needed support. "Teleran ships have arrived!" a technician cheered. With renewed strength, Maya and her crew worked alongside their new allies. The tide of battle began to shift, and the Vorlax forces started to falter. As the enemy fleet began to retreat, Maya felt a rush of relief. They had survived the first battle, proving that humanity was not to be underestimated. But she also knew that this was only the beginning. The war was far from over. With a heavy heart, she looked out into the vastness of space. They had fought bravely, but many challenges lay ahead. "We will continue to fight for peace," she vowed, knowing that their journey was just beginning. The future of humanity depended on their resolve, and she was ready to lead the way. The first battle had ended, and though they had achieved a significant victory, the war was far from over. Maya stood on the bridge of the USS Valor, her heart heavy with the weight of what had transpired. The crew was exhausted but relieved. They had proven their strength, but the cost of war was becoming clear. As the ship returned to Earth, Maya felt a mix of emotions. They had fought bravely, but there were still many unanswered questions. What would happen next? Would the Galactic Council continue to pursue war, or was there a chance for peace? Upon landing, Maya was greeted by cheering crowds. People celebrated their victory, waving banners that read, "We are strong and for peace." The energy was electric, but Maya could not shake her concern. She knew that a single battle did not mean the war was won. The Council would likely retaliate, and humanity needed to prepare for the next phase. That evening, Maya gathered with her advisors to discuss their next steps. "We have to continue reaching out for peace," she said, her voice steady. "The Council may see our victory as a threat. We need to show them that we are willing to talk." General Harris, still riding the adrenaline of battle, frowned. "Ambassador, we just fought for our lives. Why should we extend a hand to those who want to destroy us?" "Because that's how we break the cycle of violence," Maya replied, determined. "If we want to be taken seriously, we must show them that we are not just warriors, we are also peacemakers." The team agreed to send a message to the Council, inviting them to discuss a ceasefire. Maya knew that many members were still hesitant, but she also believed that the Telerans and other allies would support their call for peace. She was determined to bridge the gap between humans and aliens. The next day, news of their ceasefire proposal spread quickly. Many council members expressed interest in attending a peace conference. The Telerans offered to host the meeting, believing it could be a turning point. "This is our chance," a Teleran leader told Maya during a video call. "We must show the council that peace is possible." As preparations for the conference began, Maya felt a renewed sense of hope. The battle had shown humanity's strength, but it was their willingness to seek peace that would truly define their future. She spent hours drafting the agenda, focusing on cooperation and understanding. When the day of the conference arrived, representatives from various factions of the Galactic Council gathered in a grand hall. Maya stood at the front, her heart racing as she faced the crowd. She could see familiar faces from the Tellarans and the Vorlax. Some looked skeptical, while others appeared curious. "Thank you all for coming," Maya began, her voice echoing in the vast room. "Today, we stand at a crossroads. We have seen the consequences of war, and we have tasted victory. But victory does not mean destruction, it means the chance for a new beginning." She shared stories of humanity's history, emphasizing their struggles and victories. "We are not a species that seeks to conquer. We seek to grow and learn. We believe in the power of unity, and we want to work together for a better future." As she spoke, Maya noticed the expressions of the delegates shifting. Some looked thoughtful, while others appeared moved by her words. She continued, "Let us not repeat the mistakes of the past. We can build a future where our worlds coexist, where we share knowledge and resources instead of hatred." After her speech, a Vorlax leader stood up. "You speak of peace, but can we trust humans? You have weapons and armies. How do we know you will not turn against us again?" Maya met his gaze, feeling the weight of his words. "Trust is built over time, and it starts with transparency. We must be open with each other. Let us create agreements that benefit all sides, where our actions reflect our intentions." Slowly, other delegates began to speak. The Tellarans supported her message, and a few other factions expressed their willingness to discuss peace. The atmosphere in the room began to shift from skepticism to cautious optimism. As discussions progressed, Maya felt a sense of hope blossoming. Ideas flowed, and representatives shared their concerns. They spoke about trade, technology, and even cultural exchanges. It was clear that many wanted to find a way forward, away from war. After hours of dialogue, they reached a tentative agreement for a ceasefire and a plan for future discussions. Maya felt a wave of relief wash over her. They had taken the first steps toward understanding. As the conference concluded, delegates exchanged contact information and shook hands. Maya watched with a smile, feeling the energy of possibility in the air. She knew that this was only the beginning, but it was a promising start. Returning to Earth, Maya reflected on the journey so far. Humanity had faced a great challenge, but they had emerged stronger and more united. Now they had a chance to build bridges instead of walls. The future was uncertain, but for the first time, it felt hopeful.